All right, we're live. Welcome back, everybody. Dipcatcher Radio, back again, here to discuss an exciting topic that sometimes I forget about just because the pulse chain delays. I've kind of removed it from my mind as something that's imminent, but the something that's a real power booster for the whole Maximus economy is that when PulseChain launches, there's going to be a copy of these assets on PulseChain. And that creates some really awesome opportunities. It really strengthens, I think it strengthens the assets being able to operate kind of in parallel across two different chains. And it's going to create a lot of awesome speculative opportunities for people as they price these two similar assets on different chains with different parameters and different risk profiles. So that's pretty exciting. We're going to be, talking about, just really what it looks like when we have a copy of all of our tokens, because with Maximus, we have Maxi, we have Team, we have Base, Trio, Lucky, and Desi. So 6 Maximus tokens. And then as soon as PulseChain launches, we're going to have a copy of those. So there's going to be effectively 12 Maxi tokens. And who knows what type of hell is going to break loose when that's the case. So let's say what's up to everyone in the chat. What's up, Value Brand? Good to have you here. True Legend, Red Squirrel, back again. Cameraman, yo. All right, guys, let's share these links out. Let's get as many people in here. If you have any questions while we're talking about this stuff, please add them to the chat. I'll definitely go through every question in the chat. Dan Smith says, I'm deadly serious and don't call me Shirley. All right, Shirley. So here, while we wait while we're sharing these links, I'm actually going to play. Let me get this set up. I'm going to go ahead and play a video that Goldkey made today about Maximus. Here we go. So here, let me pull this up. We're going to play this while we share the links, and this is for the people that are not yet familiar with Maximus and with Team and the Perpetuals that we're going to be launching soon. So here, let me share my screen, and then let's play this while we share these links. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Share it to anyone that you think may care, and even share it to people that don't give a shit. Everyone should be getting this information. So here, while we all pump the links, let's view this, and here we go.
AKA Goldkey. I'm one of the founders of. Hey guys, my name is Stan, AKA Goldkey. I'm one of the founders of Maximus, and I'm excited to tell you about Maximus DAO and some exciting products we're launching soon. So let's hop in. Maximus DAO, build your legacy for generations to come. We're on a mission to empower elite gladiators with high yield assets to build empires of generational wealth. Our vision is to build the best decentralized financial tools that are easy to use, secure, and maximize returns for investors. Maximus is built on Hex, which is a leading DeFi protocol that allows people to stake their Hex tokens and earn trustless yield. Hex has a fixed inflation rate of 3.69%, which is rewarded to people that stake their Hex. Hex has 2 bonuses, the bigger pays better bonus, which is 10% for staking up to 150 million Hex, and the longer pays better bonus, which is 200% for staking up to 10 years. There's also an early end stake penalty where if you unstake your Hex before the stake's maturity, you will incur a severe penalty. In its first 2 years, Hex has done a 10,000x price run up, and there are over 100,000 stakers actively using the protocol. So we thought, what if there was a way to maximize Hex yield and minimize gas fees for stakers? So we built Maximus stake pools, which are trustless smart contracts that enable people to stake their Hex together to earn more yield and save on gas, maximizing bonuses, instant liquidity, gas fee savings, and community owned. You can think of Maximus stake pools as one giant stake your tokens hold ownership and can redeem its value of the Hex principal plus earn interest when the stake ends. So how do they work? All pools start with a mint period where you can mint one pool token per one Hex pledged to the smart contract. When the mint period ends, all the Hex pooled is then staked through the Hex smart contract. From that point on, the stake is earning yield, which is increasing the redemption value of your tokens. And when the stake ends, you can redeem your Hex principal plus earn interest from the smart contract by burning your pool tokens. We launched our first pool, Maxi, which was a 15-year stake, on April 15th and had over 5,000 people pledge a combined $50 million of Hex during the 2-week launch phase. Since the start of the stake, Maxi has commanded a premium over Hex in the underlying asset and hitting an all-time high of 133%. So it's performing really well on the free market. And on the back end, Maxi has been earning 32.5% APY and has already earned 30 million Hex in the first 114 days. To expand Maximus DAO and offer new opportunities for Hex, we are introducing 4 new stake pools called the Perpetuals, and you'll find out why. Base is a 1-year stake, Trio is a 3-year stake, Lucky is a 7-year, and Deci is a 10-year. These pools will start just like Maxi with the mint phase. All the Hex will be staked and begin earning yield. But what makes these new and innovative is that we are introducing auto compounding yield. So when those stakes end, you have 3 options. You can either redeem all or a portion of your Hex principal plus earn interest. You can leave your Hex in the pool and be auto restaked into the next term, or you can mint more pool tokens into that pool at the new mint rate, which is equal to the current redemption value of that pool token. You can think of these pools as a flexible staking ladder. A staking ladder is a strategy many already use, so you can redeem trustless Hex yield periodically or simply sell your tokens at any time. And again, bigger bonuses, gas fee savings, and instant liquidity. To support the growth of the Perpetuals, we're also introducing Maximus TEAM. You can mint and stake TEAM to earn rewards from the success of Maximus stake pools, offering passive income. The token supply is deflationary, uncapped potential for future earnings, and again, community owned. During the mint period, you can mint 1 TEAM per 1 Maxi pledged to the contract. After the mint period ends, no more TEAM will ever be minted and the supply only goes down. 20% of the Maxi used to mint TEAM is burned, increasing Maxi's redemption value. 30% of the Maxi used to mint TEAM is distributed back to TEAM stakers in years 3, 6, and 9 for the Maxi 3, 6, 9 rebate. And 50% of the Maxi used to mint and a copy of all the TEAM is sent to the mystery box. Now, if you're wondering what the mystery box is, it is just that, a mystery, and there should be no expectations. TEAM staking. So stake TEAM for an entire 1-year stake period to earn rewards for that period. If you unstake early, there is a 3.69% penalty on your TEAM, and you do not earn rewards for that period. When a stake period ends, all whitelisted tokens in the TEAM treasury are claimable by TEAM stakers. TEAM rewards. So the Perpetuals share half of the Hex earned from the bigger pays better bonus and all of the Hedron from those stakes. So TEAM stakers are incentivized to grow the Perpetuals. We spoke on the Maxi 369 rebate, which is 30% of the Maxi used to mint TEAM is rewarded back to TEAM stakers in years 3, 6, and 9. And then there is the no expectations piece. So there is the possibility to earn from more opportunities like direct airdrops to the TEAM smart contract or future products that reward TEAM stakers and send tokens to the TEAM treasury. So how to prepare for launch. If you want to mint TEAM, you're going to want to get Maxi. And if you want to mint into the Perpetuals, you're going to want to get Hex. I invite you guys to join us. Follow us on Twitter, Maximus_DAO, and hop in our Telegram, t.me/MaximusDAO. We will be announcing a launch date soon for TEAM and the Perpetuals, and we will be posting to those channels. So make sure to tap in, and our website is maximus.cash. Thank you guys so much for spending the time to learn about Maximus DAO, and I am excited for launch. I hope you are too. Thank you. Hey guys, my name is Stan.
All right, so that is what an awesome video. Great job on that, Gold Key. That's the quick explainer on Maximus TEAM and the Perpetuals for everyone who doesn't know by now. And before we get into the discussion about what a cross chain, what a dual chain Maximus ecosystem looks like, let's answer some questions in the chat. So Camergan says, does someone have to run a function at the end of each perpetual? What happens? Yeah, so at the end of each perpetual, anybody, but only one person, just needs to run the end stake hex function from each perpetual pool contract, and then that'll end the stake. So I don't have that on the dashboards because if it's already run and then you attempt to run it, MetaMask throws an error saying, hey, don't run this. It's not going to work. It's just going to be a failed transaction because it's programmed to only be able to run once. So like once the stake successfully ended, then that end stake function can't be run again until the next stake has already served. So MetaMask will warn you, but if you ignore the warning, it'll literally cost you like 0.75 ETH or like something crazy. Like it's like the maximum amount of ETH possible for that. So I don't necessarily make it easy for just like I don't want people to be like accidentally running that. It needs to be like a deliberate thing for the people that know what they're doing to run it. So just someone needs to run it probably on Etherscan, and then that'll end the stake and then move it into the next phase of the perpetual where it'll, during that stake end process, it ends the stake, collects the hex and the hedron, and then measures the amount that's going to get paid to team. It sends the hex and the hedron, that the team earned in that period, sends that from the perpetual token to team, and then it calculates the redemption rate, and then that redemption rate is now the new minting and redemption rate, and then it activates the new minting phase. So now people can mint and redeem at that new rate for the set number of days until the next stake starts. So that end stake function is really important because it's what kicks off the next stage of the cycle. But only one person needs to run it, and MetaMask warns you if it's already been run. It definitely warns you to not run it again because it'll throw an error. Nothing will happen except that you'll lose your gas money. So I don't necessarily make it easy to run, but advanced users will know what to do on that one. Kingo says, "Sweet, howdy, dip catcher. What's up, name? Hexographer, good afternoon." Hexographer makes some pretty awesome like visual graphics. He shared some with me the other day. It was really, really cool stuff. Is the rebate 30% per occasion or 10% in years 3, 6, 9? So it's more along the lines of the 10% in years 3, 6, 9. It's 5% in year 3, 6% or 5% in year 3, 10% in year 6, and then 15% in year 9. And then that's just to make the year 9 one be the biggest one. To even further reduce the circulating supply of Maxi, and then just to reward stakers in those times. Yep, Ryan's way ahead of me. Yep. What's up, Hexians? What's up, Tin Top? Cool. So yeah, so I guess the topic of discussion today, before and we actually want to do this before we want to wrap up this discussion before 5 p.m. because at 5 p.m. It's gonna be the next phase of our test sequence for the Maximus TEAM and the Perpetuals, where we start the new base stake, and then I think that's actually the only thing that's going on today at 5 p.m. is that it's time for the new base stake to start. And that'll be the new staking phase for team. So this will be a pretty quick one. But yeah, I guess now that we're getting close to launch, and a lot of people, like, this is a very common question that people ask about the Maximus tokens is what happens when PulseChain launches? Like, do we get a copy? Do the stakes get copied? and then kind of, really what does that mean for all of this? And so what's really awesome about these, about the perpetual pools is that because they're fully backed by Hex, when you are holding these coins and then that copy happens, your copy is also backed by phex. So you're going to have, your p base, which is you're going to have your e base, which is backed by ehex, and then when the copy happens, you're going to have your p base, which is backed by phex. We're going to have E trio backed by ehex, and then P trio, E trio, P trio, E lucky, P lucky, E deci, P deci, and those will just copy over just how Maxi is, and because all the hex stakes get copied over, that means that the perpetual pool stakes get copied over, and then so everything will just kind of work as normal from there, and then as far as, some people were worried that it's just not going to work on PulseChain. But interesting enough, all the development that I'm doing for these pools, it's all actually happening on PulseChain testnet. So that even gives me further certainty that that like the staking mechanism is like, is going to work. It's because everything that we're doing is on PulseChain testnet. So just I've actually had a really positive experience with PulseChain testnet. There are a couple, kind of wonky things with the block explorer. And, obviously there's not like as much tooling as there is for the, Ethereum, but because it's, it's another EVM chain, and you can plug it into your MetaMask just by updating the RPC URL, and you can inject, it's something called injecting Web3 into like any app or service. Using PulseChain testnet just works with all the with not all, but most of the Ethereum tooling. So when I'm building all this stuff, I'm actually building in Remix, which is an Ethereum development tool, and then I just change the setting to say look for the injected network, and then I inject the PulseChain network into the tooling, and then it just works. So all the staking, just how you do it on Ethereum, is going to work how you do it on PulseChain. And so these pools are just going to be fully compatible. And so, the copy applies to the time that the chain, launches. So whenever that snapshot, fork, whatever they call it, whenever that date is, the tokens are just identically copied over. So at that moment in time, the total supply and the total earnings up to that point are going to be identical. But then as it goes from there, it's actually going to kind of diverge, because now once that copy happens, they're all fully independent of each other. So what that means is that the daily payout per T-share from PulseChain and Ethereum is going to be different, because it's likely that the staking activity is a little bit different across each chain. And then also, like, as each new minting phase happens, they're going to be fully independent of each other. So the base stake, and so like after, say PulseChain launches before the first base stake ends, then right now it's like there's only one minting phase, and that's for the ETH, the ETH base, because Ethereum's the only one that's running right now. But if that copy happens in between now and the first base end stake, meaning the next base minting period, at that moment in time, there's going to be two independent minting phases going on at the same time, one on ETH, one on Pulse. And so from then, the base supply could begin to vary. And so, which truly doesn't matter, because they're fully independent of each other. And the only thing that variance in the supply impacts is really just like the price ratio between the assets on Ethereum and the assets on PulseChain. So when you're tracking those those prices relative to each other, those supplies could have an impact there. So that's really all. Like, so it's, once that copy happens, all your perpetuals you're just going to get a copy of, which is going to be awesome. Because then it's, you have a coin that's pre-staked on PulseChain, redeemable after it's done, and it's going to be tradable amongst the two. And so what I think is going to be really interesting to see is going to be the price ratios across all these different assets. Because like right now, like here, let's I actually wanted to draw this out. So here, uh, so like here we are right now. So here, I'll just, this is only with the, so here we're going to ungroup these, and we're just going to lay them out horizontally. So we have base, we have trio, we have lucky, and we have deci. And then these are the ones on E. So when this copy happens, we now get our copy on Pulse. And so beforehand, what we'll have is we're going to have, we'll have trading pairs between base and trio. We'll have a trading pair between base and lucky, and we'll have a trading pair between base and deci. And likewise, we'll have trading pair between trio and lucky. We'll have a trading pair between trio and deci, and we'll have a trading pair between lucky and deci. And I think that's all of them, right? Do we have, yeah. And so not only, so before it happens, we will have these trading pairs here, and then those trading, so provided that there's at least a trading pair on the on a Uniswap v2, and if those get copied over and those aren't ETH backed, these are just ERC20 to ERC20, so there's not any of that like supply adjustment thing going on. Then we may see the copy of these pools over here, and even if not, even if the like, regardless of what happens with how the pools actually copy over, we may just organically see these pools occur. But not only that, we just these like pairs along the same chain by means of the PulseX, the bridge and the PulseX, we're going to have trading pairs that are, we will have, let's make these bigger so we can, or here, so these will be purple and they'll be thick. So we'll have the base to base, we'll have E base to P trio, maybe. We'll have E base to P lucky. We'll have E base to P deci. And literally, like, here, let's see if I can copy these all at once. And it's literally going to be like all the same. So let's see if we can move that there. And then, yeah, so here we go. So then we'll have E trio to P base. We'll have P trio to E trio. We'll have E trio to P lucky. And we shall have E trio to P lucky. And then we'll have, I'm going to walk this through just to emphasize that there could be craziness as a result of these, just like all these pools, because one, there's going to be arbitrage opportunities between them, especially as it gets close to the redemption periods. And then two, it is actually answering really important questions in the market that have to do with what are the earnings and what are the costs on each of these markets, and then how does the market price the Ethereum based hex versus the PulseChain based hex. And so like that's the main underlying thing, is just going to be like, what is that E hex to P hex ratio? But then the thing that can amplify in one way or the other is going to be these, cross chain, cross asset exchange rates. Because anyone who's trading in the trio versus, Deci market, what they're really doing is that they're pricing the future value of three 3-year stakes versus one 10-year stake. And they are, and also pricing in, what are the gas costs that are factored into that, value of the stake, and, the other risks involved in, on a new chain. And so all of these, cross-chain markets are actually going to be really important for helping the market get an understanding of where it thinks the future, what it thinks the future holds. Um, and, and then, and then also, because there's now these new speculative opportunities, that can attract more trading volume, because now there may be, because if there's like a big seller in one of these pairs, then, while the market is simultaneously pricing, across the chain, it's pricing the value across the chain, and the value that the market's just pricing of the staked hex on one chain versus the other, is, temporarily swayed just as a result of like a single big seller. That creates a trading opportunity for someone to come and sell down that price ratio and rebalance all of these liquidity pools. So all of these, while this all looks crazy, all these different possible, cross-chain pairs, this is actually really powerful. It's a really powerful force for the market. And it also can suck in a lot of the liquid supply of all these coins. And then I guess what we didn't even include in here is just the hex itself, in here, which is going to have a link to all of these. So add another line from ehex and phex to each one of these, because they're all kind of in the same, liquid stake pool market. And so if we have a lot of trading activity here, one, that's really good for just like how the market is going to be understanding the, impact of, the gas fees, the how it's appraising the future value of stakes on both chains. But also it could suck in just a lot of the supply of all these coins, of hex, of, all these pools. And then it can create a lot of trading volume. And the higher the trading volume is, especially on these cross-chain assets, the higher the fee, the liquidity provider fees are. And that's very bullish for the PulseX price because of the fee burning mechanism. It's bullish for the PulseChain price because, because of the fee burning mechanism. And, it creates a liquid market across all these coins. And that's like a major value proposition of the Maximus stake pools, is that liquidity. And so, creating these like cross-chain and even just like intra-chain, pricing arbitrage opportunities that attract the liquidity, that really boosts the value proposition of these Maximus pools. And so while it may appear insane, like it truly feels insane that there may be so many of these, pools, it's actually really not out of the ordinary. And the auto routing, which, like on Uniswap they do it, on Matcha and some of these other dexes, there's that auto routing. It actually kind of resolves, it can kind of aid in that arbitrage, because it'll route you through the most liquid, route to, if you're trading one for the other. But kind of because the real value in PulseChain is this the cross-chain bridge and the cross-chain markets on PulseX. Like that really is the secret sauce. Like the fees, that really doesn't matter. The fees are going up. If PulseChain is a success, it's going to be expensive to use. And I hope it is, because if it's not expensive to use, that means that there's not growing demand for it. And there's not high value, high priority, time sensitive, transactions on the chain. And if there's not high value transactions on the chain, then it's not worth anything. And so, the low fees is really only because it's a new chain with not a lot of activity, and it has more, like a scaled amount of transaction capacity purely from the shorter block limit and increased block size, or shorter block frequency and increased block size. So, like the low cost fees, that's just kind of like the lowest common denominator, like marketing pitch for this stuff. But the real secret sauce in PulseChain is this cross chain, where you have you have the same asset on both chains working on, from the date of the fork, it's fully independent. And then as it moves forward, if, communities, within these tokens adopt this like new, parallel cross chain environment for their economy, then they can really use it to their advantage. And that's really, how we intend to, leverage this, wonderful opportunity that is this PulseChain copy, is that now we can have, two of the same asset on different chains fully independent. And then as things kind of change, it adds to the durability of these assets, because now it's, if one chain, some critical failure happens in ETH2, or if some critical failure happens on PulseChain, then it's like the market just resolves that issue. Maybe some people who, were too far in on one or the other experience loss, but then it doesn't stop the whole thing, because, it's almost like it's almost like a backup plan for any issue. So the cross chain, I fully intend to lean into this cross chain thing. And really it's like, choosing one or the other really it defeats the whole purpose of the whole system. Like the whole benefit and the killer feature of PulseChain is this cross-chain copy. And so I think that leaning into it is really smart. And that's what we fully intend to do with all these tokens. As crazy as it looks with all these, cross-chain swap routes, really leaning into it, that really bolsters the strength of our ecosystem. See if anyone has anything in the chat to add. Dip, why don't we have a 5-year perpetual? Because a 5-year perpetual is well, one, how do you know we won't? Two, we chose 3 and 7 to just span 5. Like if you want to hold for a 5-year period, just hold. You can split an amount in Trio and Lucky, and then the end result is that between those two, your earnings is roughly what 5 would be. Or you could just hold the 7-1 and then sell, and then hopefully at year 5, hopefully, from your perspective, that it's at least earning what a 5-year one would have earned, or like the price at that point is what a 5-year would have earned, which is absolutely realistic. So there's kind of, if the whole point is to, reduce gas fees and like impact of loss, even though adding one more pool doesn't really add that much gas, splitting those by such a short time frame, it's like we already have the 1 to 3 really short split, and then we already have this like 7 to 10 one, and so the 3 to 7 one, we still really feel it was necessary. But that's not to say that there, you may wake up one day and there suddenly is a 5-year perpetual that's paying into team, because it's very trivial to do that. But also, imagine the overload of another pool. You know what I mean? So, we just didn't necessarily feel like it was necessary because we have a 3 and a 7. Cameron says, "You're twisting my melon, man." Twist it. It's how you can exercise that brain. Same. So that's what I had to say about the cross-chain markets amongst all of these. And then now let's talk about team and just kind of how that'll logistically work. So with team, I mean, this is the backdrop here. This isn't necessarily what we're talking about, but so with team here, I'll just stop sharing my screen for now. So when the team copy happens, because it's not just copying the coins, because when your team is staked, it's burnt, and so the the PulseChain copy, it's a copy of the system state. So and the system state includes the token balances, but it also includes the state of all of the smart contracts. Because when your team is staked, it's burnt, and then when it's unstaked, it's reminted into existence. So if you're staked, you don't have a balance to copy over, but the part of the team contract that records your stake, that is copied over. And so when you interact with the team contract on PulseChain, you can end your stake there, and then it remints you back your P team. And so staking your there's no issue with staking your team because you'll get that copy, and then everything is just kind of just think intuitively about the copy. So we have all the perpetuals being copied over, and so the P perpetuals are going to be paying P team from their yield, and so based on the size of those, it's like the earnings across the two could end up being different, just if the stakes on one side are larger than the other. But the whole entire system stake gets copied over, and so that means that all the assets that or all the contracts that make team happen. Because with team, it's like there's the Maxi 369 escrow contract, there's the team contract itself, which includes staking, and then there's the stake reward distribution contract. So those contracts and their state all get copied over. And so even if those aren't token, because it's not just the tokens getting copied, it's the whole smart contracts themselves getting copied. And so everything will just work as expected. And then all it'll be is that on the dashboard that we have, or maybe someone else makes their own front ends for team and the perpetuals, it'll just have a button that says toggle between the networks. So you'll be able to just switch between Ethereum and PulseChain and just interact with and manage your stakes, just as normal, and they'll be identical, but the numbers may be a little different, but the operation is going to be the same. And because it's all based on the base stake, and I think that the fork, like the timing should line up. I don't know if there's going to be like a delay between the fork date and then when the chain goes live. The days should match up. There may be some sway, like it may get one day off, just depending on how the fork actually happens. But the scheduling should be the same. Where when the base stake is ending on Ethereum, the base stake is also ending on PulseChain. So it should be very, like, from a user's perspective, when you go into manage your stakes, and it's like a new staking period on ETH, then it'll probably be a new staking period on PulseChain. So we'll just be able to do that all at once. Name says setting up a treasure now for these new coins. Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy. As far as when PulseChain is gonna launch, I actually have no idea. Like from my perspective, using the PulseChain testnet, it just worked. Like everything worked great, but the manner in which I was using it, it's it's all fake money. So it's actually kind of hard because there's not like a big incentive for someone to go and try to steal money on it or to cause some other issue with it. So, from just like a happy path use case, it just works, but who knows what types of deep in the weeds underlying problems that they'd found with it. That's for people that are way more in the know than I am to figure out and resolve. So from like the user, like from the basic user's perspective, PulseChain testnet worked great, but that does not mean that like it is really ready to go, because a big part of like our credibility as like hexagons, and especially with Richard Hart, is that like 100% uptime just works, and that could be thrown all away if anything with PulseChain didn't work. And rushing it just because like of pressure from community members that sacrificed too much and couldn't afford it, that's nowhere near important enough that, to compromise anything with like the security or the operational integrity of the chain. So for all I care, it could take years for that thing to roll out, and I would not even sweat it one bit because we're fine on ETH. We solved the gas problem with the pools. So like, what's the deal? So like, as far as I'm concerned, it could never come out, and all we would lose is just the amount that we sacrificed, and who cares? I mean, who truly, like, it's just any other loss. You could have otherwise invested that in something else. You could have otherwise that went down. You could have otherwise lost your keys, that held that money. So it's just like, it would just be like any other loss if PulseChain ever comes out. And so, I'm personally not even really until I deliberately think about PulseChain, it really honestly doesn't even really cross my mind most of the time, but it does represent a massive opportunity if it gets launched and if it works. And so, and it's fun to think about, what that craziness looks like with all these different pools. But, until rubber meets the road, we just got to keep pushing forward with what's already here. And then, and with the pool, these pools and like the group staking, that massively solves the gas problem on Ethereum, for Hex stakers. So, even if PulseChain doesn't exist, we can keep on rocking over here, and we'll have a pretty good time. All right, so I guess that is really all I had to say on PulseChain. Does anyone else have any more questions or anything? Because in about 30 minutes, we're going to move forward the base stake, and then also we are going to, so I'll probably just do it on this stream. I probably won't even make a new stream. And I was going to work on some stuff on those dashboards. So here, why don't we pull that up? Let's check in on the progress of these things. So we just yesterday we rolled out another test phase because some people missed the minting phase, and this minting phase actually ends right now. And oh shoot, I actually wanted to do something. So here. So let's see if anyone's minted in these. Okay, so right now you can get your any of the perpetual pools, and so this, as it says, 0 days left. These will end, and then or the minting phases will end. So then we'll be able to do that. So you can find these at here. Let me share these links. So this is another test version of the Perpetuals, and then this is another test version of Team. And so with these, we have, so let's see how much time is left on the Team one. Let's see if it really is today or if it's tomorrow. Okay, so right here is how you can mint your team. I had worked a little bit on improving that, and then this is the staking dashboard. So it looks like we have 54 million test teams staked. That's pretty good. I don't know how many people did that, because if the faucet gives you 1 million maxi, and there's 54. Either 54 people did it or one person did it a bunch. But you'll be able to see how it says check back for rewards once your one ends. So that'll be how that is. And then on these perpetuals, we're gonna start the stake here in a little bit. But then something that I'm going to work on a little bit today is this dashboard, because when you click on the dashboard right here, it actually is still pulling in the maxi stuff. So I do need to fix that stuff for each of these pools. And then that actually may be the last thing that I need to do before launch. I mean, these dApps are really ready. So we'll be doing that. You know what? I am actually going to do that in a different stream, just so this video is just so people that want to watch the PulseChain stuff can only watch that. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new stream a little bit. If you haven't already, go and I shared it in the chat, these links to test this. You have about 20 minutes left to test minting team and the perpetuals before the first base stake starts. You have to lock in your test team stake there. So here, I'm actually going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this video now. I'm going to start a new stream here in a minute to just that'll be one of those kind of like live stream development workshop things to work on those pools or on the dashboards. And then we'll go from there. So thanks for joining me for this short discussion about what a cross-chain Maximus DAO ecosystem looks like, and then be on the lookout for the link to, if you want to watch me do live development of the dashboards. We'll go ahead and do that in a new stream, just so this can be its own segment on PulseChain. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.